Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Kev's Defender Project. Today we're going to be fitting another product from our friends over at Raptor Engineering, this center dash console. So when you get it, when it arrives, you'll get this set of instructions on how to fit it with this template at the bottom. Now you'll need to cut that out and stick it onto something strong and cut around it, something like cardboard, because that's the template for the hole you're going to be cutting the dashboard. So it comes with a top and a bottom panel. There's about 20 top panels and about 8 standard bottom panels that you can get from the website. But if you want to pay a little bit extra, you can do what I did and get a custom one cut. So I've got a custom 2 gauge and radio top and just a row of switches at the bottom. Also available as an add-on for about £6 on the website is this LED kit. Comes in red or blue, and you can connect it up to either the courtesy light circuit or the side light circuit depending on when you want it to come on, and it illuminates the footwells. It doesn't come with this USB socket. When I was test fitting the switches, this one didn't want to come back out, so I figured I'd just leave it. So let's go and get everything fitted up, at the gauges, the radio and all the switches in, and then we'll talk about wiring. So why don't you join me over at the bench? So now I've fitted everything into the dashboard. I've set up a test rig so we can see what it's going to look like when it's actually fitted to the vehicle. So let's have a closer look. So here we've got everything fitted into the dash, and as I said, I've got a test rig wired up. So if we turn the power on, you can see the dials spinning up and the radio is getting itself ready to go. I've also rigged up a test for the side lights. So here you can see when we turn the side lights on, all the switches light up, and also down on the sides here, the LEDs are putting out some light that's going to go into the footwell. If we switch these switches on, there's a little telltale at the bottom of the switch that actually shows that the item is switched on. And I've also got round to hooking up the hazard lights as well. So we've got the flashing switch, and also you can see in the background the test bulb that we're using as the ballast for it. So now you can see it all working. Let's just turn everything off. Now you can see it's all working. Let's spin it around. I'll take the test rig off and we can see how all the switches and radio are wired up. So in the back here we've got a separate set of wires coming out of the hazard switch, because that needs to work whether the ignition's on or not. That goes out to a set of relays. It's a kit from Bolt On Bits, which means that it replaces the functionality that's in the original Defender switch. That goes off to what looks like a rat's nest, but it's actually just me leaving a lot of wire so that I can fit the things like where it goes to the flasher relay or to the left indicator. It's very important to label all these wires, because it can it's easy to get confused. In the rest of the switches, what I've tried to do is have some kind of wiring colouring scheme. So the yellows that go between all the switch sockets is for the side lights, and the red goes to the accessory, so it'll have 12 volts when the power switched on, and of course the black goes to ground. Now in each of these, I can get in there, in each of these sockets, the top right from this side, the top right is where the power is going to come out when the switch is on. So once we get this dash over, or the wiring loom over to the vehicle, we can put in each one of these wires that goes out to the corresponding accessory that we're running. We've got red and black wires coming out of the LEDs, and I've tied them together with a red and a black. So I've wired that as footwell, so I can decide whether I want to put that against the courtesy light or the side lights. We've got a wire that comes all the way across to the back of the USB switch. So that again is running off the accessory line that we've put for all the rest of the sockets. We've got the backs of the dials up here, which again are all wired together, along with the red from the radio, and that goes to accessory. And so it's very simple, just keep it tidy. Obviously I'm going to have to wire in the speakers and the rest of the stuff that goes with the radio, but that's pretty much it as far as wiring goes. It's fairly straightforward. So we're out in the Land Rover. I've disconnected all the wires from everything that was in this original oval panel, and I've labelled them so that I know where they go when we're putting the dash back together. So step one is to unscrew this oval panel, and then taking your template you got from the instructions, screw that back on using the original screws. So now we've got the template screwed on, and we've made sure that it's level and square. Oh, nearly forgot. If you've got the original dashboard, you know, I've coated mine with leather, you'll see that from a previous episode. If you've got the original one, you'll have a plastic strip coming across the whole thing. You don't need to take it all the way off, you just undo a couple of screws. I think it had a couple of screws, and then you can just lift the plastic up out of the way and just tape it out of the way till you're done. So having said that, step two is now we've got the template on, scary time. Stanley knife, cut around all the soft area around the template and remove it. Oh, by the way, tip, use a new blade, because if you use an old one, it's not going to go very quickly. Use a new one, it's really straightforward and easy. Now we've finished cutting around the template, we can remove the template and finish removing the soft covering. So once you've got the soft covering off and you've lined up the new dash to make sure that it fits, the next step is to cut out the metal. So we're going to cut down there, across here and up here. And there we go, one new hole ready for a new dashboard. Oh yeah, and just a little tip, if you're going to go long in the corners with a big cutting disc or something, go long vertically rather than horizontally, because if you go vertical then the dashboard's going to cover it up, whereas if you go horizontal, once you've got the dashboard in, you're going to get a little kind of cut sticking out here and it's going to really annoy you. So just a little tip. So now we've verified that it fits. There are two 6mm holes underneath here. There are some smaller ones, but those are for a CB bracket. The two 6mm holes, the bigger ones, you'll need to drill through plastic and into the metal skin behind. So we're going to bolt it on. Now when you come to bolt it, you'll probably have an ashtray up here. So you can take the ashtray out and you can actually feed the bolts down through there. What I'm going to need to do is take this whole top bar off because I've covered it in leather, so I've got no ashtray. But then once we've drilled the holes, before we bolt everything in, that's probably a good time to go through and put the wiring harness in. So the wiring harness is now all hooked up. I put the frame back in and I put one of the bolts in just to hold it in place. I've left quite a lot of thread on this one because that way I can attach all the ground wires from the wiring harness to it to get a good earth back to the body. I'm going to put the other bolt in the other way around, mainly so that we've just got a short head, because this is where the radio is going to go, and just to avoid any issues with it colliding with the radio. There we go. Now I just need to hook up the switches and the radio and the dials to the wiring harness and put all the screws back in, then put this top piece back on. Yeah, one other thing, before you scratch up your lovely new panels, I suggest putting something soft down here, like a jacket, or I've actually got some padded foam, some noise insulated foam that I'm going to be fitting later on, but that'll just stop it from getting scratched.
And then we have it all done. I think it looks really smart. I think it's an upgrade anybody would want to do. Don't forget that there are a number of different configurations that you can get for the top and the bottom panels. If you don't like any of the ones that are on the website, if you want something different, for a little bit extra, you can get custom ones done like I did.
And if your dashboard's seen better days, then Raptor also do these handy powder coated cover panels, which were quick and easy to fit, and they'll make it look good as new.
So thanks for watching. Join me again next time when I'll be doing something else fun to Land Rover, and take care.